Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into Archbishop Carroll High School for the first round of the Philadelphia Catholic League basketball playoffs, and it's live here on Bob Long Sports. We'll bring you inside our broadcast booth. Bob Long, Bruce Badgley back on the program for the first time since December of last calendar year. So happy to have you. Could not be at a better time as we get ready for Philadelphia Catholic League basketball time. There is no better time of the year.
No, absolutely. And, hey, it's drive time basketball, even better, you know. I mean, folks on their way home can either listen or watch this broadcast. I think it's a great opportunity to reach a lot of people that we wouldn't normally meet. I'm really looking forward to it. Postseason basketball of any kind is great. Philadelphia Catholic League postseason basketball at another level.
It's going to be a great time here today at St. Joseph's Prep, the 9 seed in the Philadelphia Catholic League, taking on the 8 seed Archbishop Carroll. The Patriots 8-6 on the year, 14-8 overall, hosting this playoff game. A chance to play either Bishop McDevitt, the 2 seed, or Archbishop Wood, the 1 seed, depending upon how this game goes here today. Looking forward for this one. We saw certainly Speedy Morris's last regular season game on Sunday when they took on LaSalle at LaSalle College High School. Again, that was on Bob Long Sports as well. So much fun there. Such a great time and an opportunity to honor Speedy. Now another chance here today for him to potentially, it's his last game, or move on further in the Philadelphia Catholic League playoffs. Should be a lot of fun. We're now going to turn it down to our public address announcer and get ready for the national anthem and the introductions here before the game starts here in the playoffs.
Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Starters now to be announced here on the Bob Long Sports Network from the booth here up top at Archbishop Carroll High School. First for St. Joseph's Prep, Chris Arizin, 6'4", a guy who's going to be their inside presence, Bruce. Looking forward to seeing what he can do. Brian Geaton's being introduced, Trevor Wall along with Mike Keenan, and the last to be introduced, Jimmy King. All 4 guys here, really besides Arizin, and really even including Arizin, but those 4 guys will run the perimeter and will be able to stretch the floor, hit those threes, and that's going to be the catalyst for this St. Joseph's Prep offense here today.
What you're going to see with Archbishop Carroll is a lot more length. Going to be interesting to see what kind of defense, whether they're going to extend that defense out there and use that length to kind of limit some of that perimeter shooting.
Dean Coleman Newsom, the guard for Archbishop Carroll. He'll run the show, and John Camden being introduced right now, number 11, a Villanova recruit, and a guy who can stretch the floor, 6'7", also can take it off the bounce. A big matchup nightmare for any team he faces. Amari Stewart, the 6'2" guard, complemented by Tyree Kettner, the big lefty inside. Loves to throw the weight around and has been a real concern for the big man for any opposing team. And then Anquan Hill does a little bit of everything, a real wild card, and has superior length at 6'8".
Really interested to see Tyree Kettner. I mean, as you talked about, he's got that Charles Barkley body, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does throw that weight around.
We're about ready for basketball here, and it is already time for playoff hoops here in Philadelphia. Archbishop Carroll, you see them at the center of your screen, dressed in the home white uniforms. St. Joseph's Prep, they break their huddle dressed in the road black uniforms. Number 8, Carroll versus number 9, St. Joseph's Prep. The winner's opponent for Friday night not yet determined. That'll be determined by the winner of the Archbishop Ryan and West Catholic game. If West Catholic wins, this team would then face the number 2 seed Bishop McDevitt. If it's Archbishop Ryan, the 7 seed, either of these teams would go to play the top seed Archbishop Wood. We're underway here from Archbishop Carroll High School. St. Joseph's Prep work out in a 2-3 zone. Now this more of a 1-3-1 look as Camden launches a deep one. No good off the front rim.
Interested to see what kind of spacing Carroll's going to come at him with that 2-3 zone on the next go-round.
Trevor Wall has it now. He'll drive, give that one away. Last touch by Wall. Wasn't touched by Carroll on the way out.
I can understand why St. Joe Prep is in his zone because as I touched on at the opening, I mean, there's significant length on that Carroll squad that St. Joe Prep's going to have to deal with today.
And Quan Hill right at the top. Wall got a hand on it. Fortunate to get it back in a reset. Wall all the way out the top prong of this 1-3-1 defense. That's a good catch by Hill. Now Kettner, double team comes on him, swims through it again, but that's one too many steps.
Nice high-low post move. I think that always works well against the zone defense. Little travel there, but like the setup to start.
Bob Long, Bruce Badgley here for our playoff coverage. Jimmy King has it now. Wall looks for help. Archbishop Carroll stays in the man-to-man. A good screen there by Arizon allows Gatens to get into the lane. A reset with 6:42 to go, scoreless here in the first quarter. Great back cut by King.
Looks like there was a mismatch underneath there, and King really scooted to the hoop. Nice layup.
Coleman Newsom for Anquan Hill. And so quick to double team as St. Joe's Prep. Opens up an open three, and he hits it. That's Anquan Hill at 6'8".
I was sitting right in that front row of the bleachers there early on, watching him shoot that shot, I think about 10 times in a row and making it. So I wasn't expecting anything less than that on that play.
Wall couldn't control it. A short hop in the corner. Bruce, every time I have the opportunity to come here, I just think that this is as good as it gets from a venue perspective in the Philadelphia Catholic League. It gets loud. The fans certainly love this team. They showed up here today at the end of the workday on a Wednesday. It's fantastic. What a save that was, and St. Joe's Prep's going to get it back. Might create an open court rush. Wall to the basket. That is so nicely done by Jimmy King. Eyes in the back of his head to find Wall.
Yeah, that would be my expectation for St. Joe Prep, trying to push it up the floor as fast as possible.
And that's one there. Maybe if you're Stewart for Archbishop Carroll, you just let that one go out of bounds. Would have prevented that rush the other way. Stewart gets it right back on the offensive end.
Always love those long rebound second chance points.
Archbishop Carroll, 1-point lead, 5:06 to play first quarter. First round of the Philadelphia Catholic League playoffs. Tonight it's 8 versus 9. Archbishop Carroll against St. Joseph's Prep, and it's 7 o'clock in Philadelphia. It'll be Archbishop Ryan taking on West Catholic. That's 7 versus 10 respectively. St. Joe's Prep, Bruce, for the first time, slow this thing down a little bit.
Yeah, I think that they're going to have to up-tempo it a bit more. I think that the steal there.
How about this for up-tempo? The big man all the way to the 10.
But I think that they've really got to work it up-tempo, side-to-side, cross-court, get those guys moving. They've got to do something to counteract that length that Archbishop Carroll has on them.
And Wall with a hesitation dribble. King. And that's active hands. In the break comes Newsom. All the way to the basket, he's fouled. That's Dean Coleman Newsom. One more look as he attacks the basket in transition, holding off the defender all the way.
And if I'd had my glasses on, I could have seen the replay. Sorry about that.
Trust me, Bruce, it was a great play.
I was just marveling at how great the programs were because I didn't have to use my glasses, but I'm going to have to get them in there just for the replay. That's all right.
Richard Thomas comes into the game 5'11". Interesting, Bruce. Speedy Morris has been known for his analytic nature in terms of keeping 5 guys, sometimes only a 6-man rotation. These 5 guys plus Thomas, really the only guys that we'll see all afternoon unless maybe something isn't going so well for St. Joe's Prep. Thomas, extra pass.
Yeah.
Good hands there by Archbishop Carroll.
Yeah, moving that ball, though, quickly around the perimeter.
That was Stewart who got his hands on it. 3:50 to go.
Maybe some dribble drive, kickback action.
That's a deep 3, and it's good.
Wow.
Mike Keenan for 3. We're all tied at 7.
Dead eye on that one, but, you know, they're going to have to take what the defense gives them.
Coleman Newsom now to the baseline and a travel. Stewart just shuffled the pivot foot.
A lot of late arriving crowd. I can understand that. I mean, with traffic around here.
Yeah, a little slide there to the feet. Late arriving, sure, but it's a good one. This place is filling up.
Yep, it is. You know, and you were talking about, you know, a classic venue. You know, you come into places like this, you could just look at the finish on the gym floor and, you know that there's so much history that's taken place on this on this floor between the girls and the boys state championship teams from just a few years ago. Wow, just reeks in history. I was fortunate enough to be able to call the girls state championship game last year. I was talking to some of the Archbishop Carroll faithful. You know, they actually lost in the state championship game last year to Chartiers Valley, but you know, look forward to them to maybe do a run again in the tournament, but they're saying that Archbishop Wood is the team to beat in girls basketball this year. So,
well, that might extend to boys basketball as well. That's an Archbishop Wood team right at the top of the standings. They will host all the way to the Palestra. They'll face the lowest remaining seed on Friday evening in Warminster. Nice slide to the basket there by Chris Arizin, and St. Joe's Prep a quick 5-0 spurt.
Interested to see now against this zone what they're going to try and do for some open shots. Looks like they are back in that high-low post setup, or were.
Kettner goes right at it. Foul called against Gatens. He's not going to like the call, but I think he'll take it. Anytime Kettner catches it that deep and it doesn't end with him getting the ball over the rim, I think you'll take it in most cases.
He's just a total mismatch out there, Kettner.
But they get the steal. Wall down the floor along with Arizin. It's going to be Arizin to slow it down. You mentioned picking up the pace. I'll tell you what, St. Joe's Prep has been effective since they've slowed the pace down a few minutes ago. And, of course, the active double teams defensively, that's their counter to the size of Archbishop Carroll. Gatens thought about the 3, instead drives. Good kick, Thomas, an open 3. In and out, but there's the follow by Trevor Wall. Weak side, nobody boxes him out.
And not intimidated to go in amongst the trees here, that's for sure. I mean, he's going up against guys 6'4", 6'8". Good move there.
In the act of shooting, so Trevor Wall will shoot 2 from the line. To your point, 6'8", that's Anquan Hill that needs to find a body on the backside, does not, and pays for it. St. Joe's Prep, their largest lead of the early portion of the contest, 11-7, 2:12 to go.
Really active zone defense out there yet.
Skip pass, extra one to the corner. Coleman Newsom got it. Great ball movement by the Patriots out of that timeout.
Yeah, absolutely what Coach Bo's got to see out of that group.
Wall. He'll tee it up, and it's good.
Wow.
John Camden almost dared him to shoot it. He points at his chest, Bruce, as if to say, that's my fault. He went behind the screen, thought he was back into the play, didn't close out hard enough.
Boy,
Wow,
oh.
fortunate there for Archbishop Carroll. Somehow that one caught the backboard. Camden can't hit it, but how about that wingspan?
That's what 6'8's going to do for you on the inside. Watch him just go up there, snare that ball one hand, and then drive to the hoop. Beautiful play there.
You can't teach that, Bruce.
No, not at all. I mean, you know, looking at, you know, these Carroll guys, you know, you just have to give St. Joe an enormous amount of credit because they're just going right at it. Look at that drive right around to the basket.
That is a thing of beauty from Speedy Morris offensively. All four guys line right at the foul line, and Wall takes the defender off his offhand, but there's no help at the rim.
Yeah. I mean, that's some defense items. And, oh, some length on the shot by Hill. Or excuse me, yeah, Hill.
16-15, St. Joseph's Prep. 24 seconds left, and the Hawks look to maintain possession for the last shot of the quarter. A good one here from Archbishop Carroll. Everything you want out of an early round playoff game. Richard Thomas has it now. Thomas draws a double, so it's an open three. Keenan hits it. A lot of contact there in the corner, no call. And Archbishop Carroll won't get the shot off. What did happen was it banged the light just above us. So we're a light short, but St. Joe's Prep has a 4-point lead.
Wow, you know, very entertaining quarter of basketball. Love the chess match going out there between Coach Morris and Coach Bo. Boy, that zone defense, as long as they can, you know, pack it in there and, you know, force those guys to shoot from out, it's going to be pretty interesting. They had a little high-low post action there for Carroll, and so they're showing a lot of different looks. But, boy, St. Joe Prep, I mean, fearless going up against that height so far. I'll be anxious to see if Carroll doesn't get a little bit more aggressive on the defensive end closer to the basket.
It was a game in the regular season that Archbishop Carroll came out victorious. In the early stages here, 8 minutes in at St. Joe's Prep with a 19-15 score line and an impressive output from an offensive end in the first quarter. Bruce, right at center court, if you were to lift this camera right up to the top, in fact, we'll ask JT if he could do this. If you could lift that camera up to show that light right there real quick. That is the
That's
light.
out now.
And now it just went out. Maybe just a little bit higher there. I think it's right at the top there. Go just a little bit higher if you could.
That's the first casualty of the night is the light.
First casualty is that light there. That's what that heave hit at the end of the first quarter. So the light's out. No debris at this point. Now we're ready for action here in the second quarter.
I'll be honest with you. It's the first time that I've seen a light hit and go out during a basketball game.
But again, the fortunate thing for these teams, there's no debris, nothing falling.
Wow.
Big time there.
St. Joe Prep on fire.
That's Brian Gatens. 22-15, the Hawks lead. And what a flourish to end the first quarter and to begin the second. And right back to business. Archbishop Carroll gets it where they like to get it, which is to Tyree Kettner on the block.
You know, we were talking before the game on what kind of pace of play we were going to expect to see during this ball game. And this has been pretty impressive, the pace of play so far. Fun to watch.
Keenan through traffic, didn't travel. Great floater. Just an extended step, Bruce. Got him to the basket.
Well, according to the refs, he didn't travel. But
7:05 to play. St. Joseph's Prep has been in this 1-3-1 defensively with Wall at the top of the 1-3-1 for the entirety of the game. They're doubling every time a big catches it. Camden tries to make him pay with a step back.
Wow, beauty there. I mean, that was a contested shot, and he just dropped it in there.
I broadcast the St. Joe's Prep team on Sunday afternoon in the regular season finale against LaSalle. They were lighting it up from distance then. They are doing the same here today. Some great basketball on both sides here in the Catholic League. Geaton's a pull-up. How about this kid?
Wow. Geaton's 5'11", senior.
We got ourselves a track meet here in Radnor. Kettner inside. Great finish.
This is Philadelphia Catholic League basketball, gang.
Bruce, we welcome you from the Reading area. It's always good to have a veteran broadcaster like you down here in Philadelphia checking out the product that these schools have to offer.
Well, it's incredible to have the opportunity to see this basketball in playoff mode.
There's a foul. Richard Thomas, the sixth man for St. Joe's Prep. Goes up high to get that one. Second team foul against Archbishop Carroll. First goes against Dean Coleman Newsom personally.
Been a pretty clean game so far. Each team with only 2 fouls so far.
Spot up. That one's no good. Opportunity to run here for Carroll. What a pass that was. And Stewart will throw it down.
Oh! Boy, you really just smoked that one. Watch him all alone. Takes off and boom. If I was doing this game on Twitter, that highlighted get me about 5,000 views.
Bruce, it's just another day in the Catholic League. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, no, I get that, but
no, I'm kidding.
You know, 26-24 with Prep out in front. You know, they've shot the lights out of it early here in the game. I am going to be interested to see how Carroll doesn't start to take advantage a little bit more of that length inside. To try and use their strength there. They've been successful from shooting from out. I'm just surprised that they haven't worked more, maybe with Hill and definitely Kettner inside. On occasion they've been doing that, but I would expect that they're going to start forcing that issue now.
Well, I think the key is high-low action if you can against the zone, especially given the 1-3-1 nature of it. You put a 1-3-1 in there because you want to trap, and you understand why Speedy did it. It's brilliance from a game plan perspective, and we wouldn't expect anything less out of him. Against the size, you put a second man. You force them to make a decision. But high-low action could get the ball into the hands of the shot maker in a good spot. There's a good contest. Last touch by St. Joe's Prep. It's Carroll basketball with 5:26 to play here in the second quarter.
Yeah, you just have the feeling that every possession is going to be important in this contest.
Coleman Newsom hits a three, and Archbishop Carroll leads by 1.
No reason to move inside if you're going to make those. Nice bucket there.
There's a foul called against Coleman Newsom. That's his second personal foul, team's third. Comes with 5:03 to go. We talk a lot about St. Joseph's Prep and them only going 6 deep. We haven't seen many, if any, other than this starting 5 for Archbishop Carroll either. At some point, they may need to dip into the bench, but for the time being, Dean Coleman Newsom stays out there with the 2 personal fouls. More than halfway to go in the second quarter.
And he does not look like a freshman out there. Very composed. Oh, nice block there.
That's Anquan Hill. One more look. Somehow he doesn't travel here as well. Well, somehow the whistle wasn't blown. Maybe I should say that as you see that orange shoe sliding there.
His eyes lit up when he saw him go up for that shot.
Archbishop Carroll 27, St. Joe's Prep 26. A good response here, a 7-0 spurt from the Patriots. Geaton's guarded by the larger Carroll.
Yeah, he got himself hung up on the baseline. Had nowhere to go with it.
Coleman Newsom, the baseline opens up.
That guy does not look like a freshman.
Oh, and that's a great pass there from John Camden there as well. The big man at 6'7", leading the break. Wall from the elbow, too strong. Camden will bring it down, and he's fouled. Third team foul against St. Joseph's Prep, just the first against Arizin.
Yeah, still not, still been a very clean game so far, halfway through the second quarter.
You get the feeling this will be a game of runs here. It's a 9-0 spurt for Archbishop Carroll. St. Joe's Prep had a 7-0 run of their own to get to this point. Three from the corner, in and out that time. And it's a team rebounding effort, Bruce, for the St. Joe's Prep team. The point guard Wall has to get in there against Kettner.
Fast up the floor.
Keenan puts it in for two.
I'll tell you, it's kind of tough to set, what the trend should be on offense, considering both teams have had success with all aspects of the game. High-low post, outside for Carroll. Fast pace as well as deliberate style there for St. Joe Prep.
Now in the corner. More of a 2-3 zone look. Foul called against Gatens.
A little bit surprised look on his face on that foul, but
that's his second.
Right in front of the official.
Fourth team foul against St. Joseph's Prep. As mentioned, Brian Gatens' second. Here's Kettner, spins away from the double. Anquan Hill, one-handed catch. Couldn't quite get the shooter's roll, and an offensive foul called against Amari Stewart.
Crashing the boards there, a little bit too aggressive. Boy, give credit for some great position underneath the St. Joe Prep.
It has clearly been drilled into them that they need to box out, because in 0 of the games that they play this year in the Philadelphia Catholic League, will they have the height advantage?
Yeah,
doesn't matter. Qualified for the playoffs anyway, beat some really good teams on their way here, and are hanging with this really talented Carroll team every stretch of the way.
Yeah, gritty bunch out there. A lot of sharpshooter action.
Good look there for Arizin. See if he tries to take Kettner off the dribble. And a foul called against Kettner. Fifth team foul against Archbishop Carroll. And we've seen more whistles in the last few minutes than we had for the first quarter plus.
Yeah. I think that's a good rest, good break there for Kettner. I think that might have been a little bit of a foul called by a little bit of tiredness there on the baseline. Oh, wide open.
Oh boy. Anquan Hill says no.
I mean,
inside.
He could cover that entire lane. I mean, he's guarding his man on the opposite side of the lane. Flies all the way across to block this shot. Incredible.
Not to take away from what an unbelievable execution that was from St. Joe's Prep. A little slip screen down low by Mike Keenan. Set him wide open. John Camden for Archbishop Carroll was the one that made the mistake defensively. Anquan Hill there to clean it up. No good on that three, and Camden brings it down.
Yeah, Prep's gone cold here.
Still down by just one.
Looks like they got away from the high-low post action.
There's a deep three. It's good. Dean Coleman Newsom, the freshman, having a day.
Wow. Physically, he does not look like a freshman either. I mean, he's put together, gang.
And a reach around that time by Amari Stewart. He knew it. That's one where if you're going to do that, Bruce, you better get the ball, because anything less, that is as easy a call as the official is going to make.
Well, you got two officials staring at you, and there's nobody around.
Probably not one you needed if you were Archbishop Carroll at that moment. Now Arizin, unafraid. He'll pull it back, though, with 2:11 to play, second quarter. Gatens. And now Keenan with it. King was open. Got the defender in the air. A floater, some contact, no call.
Wow.
St. Joe's Prep doesn't like it.
Mr. Glass Cleaner Kettner there for the board.
Extra pass. No good from the corner. What a great box out.
That was fantastic there by Arison.
And if you're St. Joe's Prep, as Wall heads inside, great look to the baseline. A reset with 124. Extra pass. Geetons for 3. Good.
Boy, you know, that's how you do it.
And it's Trevor Wall setting it up. No surprise. The leader of this team, the captain, he had the first skip pass and the unselfishness from Keenan to make the extra one. Camden for the answer. And now St. Joe's Prep with 1 minute left, being advised from the sideline to hold this up, slow things down to about 50 seconds now. This might be the last shot of the half.
That sure looks that way.
No, it won't, as St. Joe's Prep's going to shoot foul shots. Front end of the 1-and-1 upcoming. That's the 7th team foul against Archbishop Carroll and the 3rd against Dean Coleman Newsom.
Yeah, that's, I think that the key thing there is, you know, a lot of coaches sometimes, anybody with 2 fouls, in the last minute of the game, or last minute of any half, they're usually going to pull them out and try and protect them there. But that could be a telling tale down the stretch. Oh.
In and out. Front end so important in these games. Now Archbishop Carroll. Will they hold for the last shot? I'm going to say no.
Yeah,
this
I'm going to say no,
This is a team that likes
too.
to get it up quickly, and I can understand why. They're brilliant offensively. There's Camden through traffic. A blocking foul, and he'll shoot 2 at the line.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the outside shot actually sets up the drive, because the perimeter, the defense expects them to shoot the 3, pulls it down, goes to the basket, and he'll shoot 2.
Boy, he caught Gatons pretty straight on, didn't he? That could have been going the other direction.
These guys are going to be bruised and battered come the end of this one, that's for sure.
Camden misses the first. 29 seconds left in the half. Stay with us here at halftime on Bob Long Sports. You see Speedy Morris at the bottom of your screen. Give him the official and earful. Why not? 80-plus years young. Guy's been doing this for 55 years. You got to love the intensity. We're going to have a replay of our Sunday programming at halftime. Richard Prendergast, Paul Romancic, and Dr. John Giannini reminisce on the career of Speedy Morris. Stay with us here at halftime. And then before you know it, it's time for second half action here in the 8 versus 9 matchup in the first round of the Philadelphia Catholic League playoffs. 33-31, Archbishop Carroll. 11 seconds left, and again, everybody comes out to the foul line. Now they'll break it up with 6. Contact, count it, and 1. Trevor Wall, what a half for him.
He has been fearless going to the basket. It doesn't really much matter. Got the defender in the air, the scooping in.
Really the barometer for this St. Joseph's Prep team. A senior captain can slow things down, and in this case can give St. Joe's Prep a 1-point lead and potentially the lead going into the half here. Just 5 seconds remain here in the second quarter. (34-33) St. Joe's Prep. It's Coleman Newsom back on the floor with the 3 personal fouls. He'll get it up in time, and a foul call. We got a foul called before the half ends. Let's get one more look. There is some contact there on the hand check.
Oh, my. I mean,
that's a tough call there.
That is a really tough call, but, I mean, I'm sure Coach Bo is kind of holding his breath there, driving the lane with 3 fouls, and in the half, I mean, I think he wanted him to stay kind of on the perimeter, maybe shoot a jump shot, not in amongst the trees, possibly drawing a charge for a 4th. I don't think he wanted that, but anyway, it's going to work out.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Bruce. You're exactly right. You are gasping for breath there if you're the coach of a 3-foul man heading in with reckless abandon in the final seconds of the first half.
That could all work out.
But honestly, in my mind, that's a no call there. It's a block by Arizin. He got it clean up top. Call to half. 1 of 2, a tip up,
Oh.
no good. Probably more contact there than there was on the shot by Coleman Newsom. We'll get one more look.
I thought he was going to call a foul on this play.
Yep.
Actually, he really was. I thought he was fouled.
That's what I mean.
And they didn't call it.
There's
Maybe
more
it was
contact on that one than there was on the prior drive.
Yeah,
But nonetheless, 34 apiece here after 2 quarters. Really good one here from Archbishop Carroll High School. Bruce, your thoughts on what we've seen so far?
Been totally impressed with St. Joe Prep. They have showed no fear in going to the basket. They've just like we talked about, I expected them to play a little bit more up tempo, but they slowed it down, had success. They went in and drove the basket. I mean, Trevor Wall, he was fearless going to the bucket there in the first half. Brian Gatens, I thought, did well shooting from out. But, my gosh, Anquan Hill and his length, I mean, he is just ruling the paint. I think he had at least 3 blocks in the first half. So, there's that intimidation factor. Tari Kettner, he's throwing his weight around inside. And I was totally impressed with Dean Coleman Newsom. It's going to be interesting how they're going to control him in the second half there, or how Coach Bo is going to try and control him the second half, because, he is going to be saddled, with a little foul trouble there. And it's been a lot of fun, that's for sure. Very entertaining. 34-34. You couldn't ask. I mean, we're going to start it all over again here in, about 8 minutes, aren't we?
That's right. No doubt about it. It's been a wonderful game thus far. St. Joe's Prep impressed with their ability to get the puppies organized, as our good friend Bill Raftery would say, and knock it down from deep, spreading the floor well. Also, the different offenses that they've been able to run. We saw them line 4 guys up at the foul line twice and allow Trevor Wall off the left-handed dribble to get to the basket, finish with the offhand, once through contact for a foul. And you really get the sense that this team has a great understanding of who they are and how they're going to win basketball games. They're neutralizing the size defensively with the 1-3-1 zone. They have yet to come out of that. Counter that with what we saw on Sunday against LaSalle. They played man-to-man for 32 minutes. This is a team that can be kind of ambidextrous in the way they go about their business, and they can execute in many different ways. That's what I've been impressed with. And then on the Archbishop Carroll side, they have been committed to get it inside, even amidst double teams, find creative ways to get it there. And that's why you see a high-scoring game on both sides. I don't think the defense on either side has been subpar. It's been superior offense and ruling the day, and a great second half coming your way.
Yeah, I think from a shot selection standpoint, I don't think that anybody's been really pressing the issue. I think that's contributed to the pace of play and the good play too. I mean, there haven't been weren't many fouls called. Now I think that's a function of the fact that St. Joe Prep really, every time that they tried to go to the basket, I mean, it got swatted away there by Anquan Hill. So they're going to be forced to predominantly play a perimeter game in the second half. I'll be surprised if Carroll plays that style of game. They seem to be, a little bit more perimeter oriented in the first half than I expected, but they were successful in doing it and actually set up a couple of dribble drives to the basket by faking the three-pointer and then going to the basket. So very impressive by both teams.
Bruce Badgley, my color guy, my right-hand man here. It's excited to have him on. Really excited to have you on, man. It's been great. Now what we're going to do for halftime entertainment is replay what was an unbelievable interview on Sunday afternoon with Richard Prendergast, Dr. John Giannini, and Paul Romancic, who a lot of Carroll fans will know him well, longtime Carroll player, fantastic player, a star at the University of Pennsylvania under Fran Dunphy, and then came back and coached here in the Catholic League for his alma mater for 15 years. He did a great job, as did Dr. John and Richard Prendergast. And we'll be right back for the beginning of the second half real soon. Welcome back inside our broadcast booth, everybody. Richard Prendergast, current LaSalle University color commentator for all their broadcasts. Longtime assistant at LaSalle under Speedy Marsh. Joins Paul Romancic and John Giannini with us. Thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate this, Richard.
My pleasure. Nice to be here. My alma mater.
That's right. Absolutely. Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, always nice to be back to the school that taught me well, I believe.
Take us through your relationship with Speedy Morris, a longtime assistant, I know a very close friend as well.
Yeah, I mean, close friend. The first thing, thanks to Speedy, I met my wife down at Austin Peay University, so I owe him that. And then Speedy was my best man, and Mimi was our maid of honor at our wedding. But it's interesting that you have me do this today here because this is exactly the floor where I first met Speedy. It was way back 1965. I noticed these shirts say 52 seasons. Well, I know he had 55 because he had 3 in CYO. And that's when I met him. I think it was my second year coaching St. Tim's and his first year coaching St. John the Baptist. And we met each other playing in the LaSalle Grammar School basketball tournament here on this very floor. And I'll never forget it because we both had good teams, and we did win that game. And then, shaking hands with Speedy after the game, I'll never forget, he says to me, "My scouts didn't tell me your press was that good." And I just was somewhat flabbergasted. Here's a guy with CYO had scouts, and I'm sitting there, what I need is a station wagon to get my players to the games. But it became a great friendship. My business, ICS Corporation, we were at 317 North Broad for quite a few years, right next to Roman. And my dad was a graduate of Roman. So Speedy and I became close because I would go to a lot of their games or stop in at his practices when I wasn't busy. But the big thing came when I ended up coaching the girls at Hallahan, and then Speedy got offered the women's job at LaSalle. And he called me up that summer, I'll never forget it, and said, "I've been offered that job. Could I coach girls? You know me." And I said, "College girls, Division I, you can coach them. You'll be surprised how good they are." And he said, "Well, if I take the job, would you come with me as an assistant?" And, to go back to my other alma mater, LaSalle University, I said, "That'd be great. I would love to do it." So we had the ladies for 2 years, and we had a lot of success, a lot of great players, great kids. Cheryl Reeves coached the WNBA Minnesota Lynx to 2 championships. She was one of our players. It was just a great 2 years, and then Speedy got the men's job, and fortunately we also recruited Lionel Simmons that first year. So good players make good coaches, so we had a great run there at LaSalle.
That's great. And what has your relationship been like since you guys departed the sidelines there at LaSalle?
Well, it's like I say, it's never changed. I mean, I think my wife and Mimi talk almost, if not every day, every other day, so they kind of go back and forth. I live down the shore now and, help coach the Middle Township guys down there. And Speedy actually wanted me to come with him as an assistant at the prep. But to be honest with you, I live 75 miles away, and I kind of had it with traveling back and forth, so I politely turned that one down. But we stayed very close. We were at his 1,000th win along with Joe Mahalik and Fran Dunphy. We were at where they honored him, just about 2 weeks ago at the prep. Where everybody showed up for that. It was great. But we've stayed close. They come down the shore. My wife works at the Windward Hotel, and we've put them up there and had a lot of good times. We stayed very close with the family, Keith, Brian, Margaret, Mary, and Christopher. Actually, Christopher and my youngest daughter, Colleen, went to LaSalle together, and my 2 oldest daughters, Marie and Catherine, went to LaSalle with Keith. So families have been very close for a long time, still are.
That's great. I don't want to dominate this, Paul. John, anything that you and Richard had either been through or any questions or thoughts you had that you wanted to share on Speedy at this time?
Well, I have a few, but I'll just quickly share one that I just found out for the first time before this game. I was talking with Randy Monroe. I said, "What's your favorite Speedy story?" He says, "My senior year at Roman Catholic, my family was going to visit relatives in Georgia, and I said, 'Mom, I can't go. I have this tournament.' And when Speedy found out he was going to be alone for Christmas, he said, 'Come to my house with my family.' He spent that Christmas and stayed 5 days with the Morris family, and you could see Coach Monroe getting emotional about that. And I think it's just one of probably many hundreds of stories of Coach Morris caring for his players.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Speedy always did care about the players, Dr. John. Paul has some stories, too, because he had to go up against them enough times.
Oh, no doubt about it. But, I mean, it sounds like the stories, the theme largely is family, is about the Morris family, and then friends that are family, obviously, like you said.
Hey, Richie, tell the Jack Hurd recruiting story.
Oh, we had a great one when we recruited Jack Hurd. It's a classic. He lived in a little town out in midwestern Pennsylvania called Lidditz, and it was in the middle of winter when they made a home visit. So it was Dumpf, Joe Mahalik, and Speedy. I wasn't there on that one. All I know is they had a great home visit, and it's a very big recruit to get. So they're leaving, and Dumpf is driving, and Speedy's talking to him, and all of a sudden Speedy says, "Dumpf, please tell me Joe Mahalik's in the back seat." And they turned around, and Joe Mahalik wasn't in the back seat. They had to turn around. There's Joe Mihalik standing outside the Hurd household, freezing cold because they had his overcoat. So when he finally gets in the car, Speedy says, Joe, why didn't you at least go back in the house? He said, Speedy, we're trying to recruit this kid. You think his parents would let him come with us if they were so dumb they left me here? It's a very, very true story.
That's a classic.
You know, just one of many, many good ones with Speedy. I can still hear the phrases when we were coaching together. You know, and ball you man, flat triangle, don't turn a good shot into a bad play. I mean, Speedy was – he actually had a way to retrieve a loose ball that if you didn't go down on that floor the right way, he kind of got on you for that. That's how detailed he was.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, Richard, we appreciate your time. You're welcome to hang if you want. We can also let you get back to it, though, if you'd like.
No, I'll get back to the bride. She's going to crutches, so I got to look after her.
All right. Sounds
Gentlemen, it's
good.
always great to see you,
Thanks,
Paul. Good luck
Richie.
to you continuing.
Best,
Dr. John,
man.
I'm a
You're the
fan of
best.
yours. Keep it up.
Back at you. Same.
And what are those three guys, if not timely? We're back here for the third quarter here on Bob Long Sports first round Philadelphia Catholic League playoff action. It's 34 apiece. Kettner able to swing it to the outside. Archbishop Carroll, that's a great back cut from Hill through the double. Kick out. It's a really good shot there and great offense. Wasn't rewarded with the three from Camden.
They're going to have to start hitting that outside shot, because St. Joe Prep is really collapsing inside.
Nicely done by Anquan Hill.
Something you don't see much of anymore, just that turnaround jumper from the free throw line, especially with his length. I mean, that's going to be deadly.
It's going to be deadly as well, because now you got to send a second guy out to guard him there. That opens up Kettner for some high-low action. St. Joe's Prep dressed in the road black uniforms. Archbishop Carroll here in the home whites. Number 8, Archbishop Carroll. Number 9, St. Joseph's Prep. First round of the Philadelphia Catholic League playoffs. King thought about a long three. Instead, all the way to the 10. Everything but the finish. Nicely done from King. And a kick ball. Trevor Wall will stop it right there. 6:44 to play, third quarter.
You know, I think a key to this game is going to be whether Dean Coleman Newsom can stay out of foul trouble here the second half, because he's clearly the catalyst of this Carroll offense.
Kettner inside, goes to work, couldn't finish. Still a pretty high percentage look. I think you'll take that if you're Francis Bowe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 2-footer from him, yeah, absolutely.
Now St. Joseph's Prep slows things down. Perhaps this is a game where you limit the number of possessions in the second half if you're the Hawks. Wall skirts the baseline. Now Thomas all the way through.
That is so beautiful. My gosh, Richard Thomas.
And Carroll right back to it offensively. 6:04 to play. But how about the sixth man, the reserve, coming in there and making a big play on the reverse. Open three, Stewart well short.
And that was really long range, too.
Carroll back pretty well defensively to prevent the run out by St. Joe's Prep. How quick is that crossover?
I tell you what.
Trevor Wall.
St. Joe Prep totally fearless in there. Carroll's got to tighten up that interior defense. They're just dribbling right around into the basket.
Camden got to the elbow. Coleman Newsom, the freshman's been hot. Not that time, but Hill brings it down. Yeah. Nicely done.
Cures a lot of ills when you can get that kind of rebound.
Well, and that's so tough when you have a big like that on the outside. St. Joe's Prep trying to grab the two bodies, Kettner and Camden, who were down there on the block. In flies 6'8" with that type of wingspan. Tough to deal with.
Yeah, almost impossible.
Arizin tries to blow by on Kettner. King has some penetration. They'll reset it. Arizin, a dangerous pass, but it got there. Opens up the shot for King. Kettner screaming for the basketball, but it is a double team in there. Now he gets it one-on-one. One power dribble, some contact, no call. Francis Bowe incensed.
That's 2 in a row Kettner's missed inside.
And Anquan Hill pulls it down, as that's the best look Keenan's going to get all day. That one came up a bit short. Can't argue with the efficiency, though, from St. Joe's Prep. They have been very effective from beyond the arc.
And they've been very effective penetrating that defense so far this half.
Anquan Hill, skip pass. Extra one. Coleman Newsom will tee it up again. That one is good. Nothing but net.
Well, you know, that kind of combination becomes deadly. Working that perimeter, they've got to draw those guys out from inside. But really, Carroll's had some good looks inside. They just haven't made the basket.
That's exactly right. And again, this 1-3-1 has all been about double teaming size, trying to make them make poor decisions and turn the ball over. A high one, no good. Arizin had it in his hand. And last touch, I believe, by Camden. But no, it's going to be last touch by St. Joe's Prep. But Bruce, point I'm making there offensively for Carroll is when you have a team doubling so quickly and so hard there, if you can execute the skip pass, you can create some open looks. And Archbishop Carroll did that on the previous possession. Camden for three. It's good. And Archbishop Carroll, a 6-0 run. Timeout, Speedy Morris. 2:59 to play, third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, apropos timeout, but I'm really interested to see what St. Joe Prep does here. They had some success penetrating quickly to the basket with a Thomas there. I'm surprised that, you know, he hasn't started in this game, because his quickness, I think, is what they need, you know, to beat that Carroll defense, to dribble through. But on Carroll's side, my gosh, they've really had a lot of good looks at the basket, just haven't converted. Score really should be a little bit, the lead should be a little bit more than just 6 in my mind right now.
I think this one's heading to the wire here. A little early to say that, but 3 minutes left in the third quarter. St. Joseph's Prep has been able to knock down the threes tonight when they've needed to. Every run has been met with a counter by the opposition. This run just happens to be in Archbishop Carroll's favor.
Yeah, a little bit of pressure defense up court. First time we've seen that tonight. But token at that.
Yeah, it's just a face guard on Trevor Wall, and
Exactly.
you can certainly understand that.
Yeah, I think a good move.
Jimmy King off the bounce, and now Wall will get it. Gayton's into the lane. King, foot behind the line for three.
Beautiful. You know, I love the spacing on that offensive set.
You nailed it, Bruce. That's exactly right. Hand check there. Could have been called, wasn't. Coleman Newsom, Camden, so good from that spot, and it's good.
You know, I can understand why Villanova's interested in him. Very smooth with the shot.
2 minutes to play third quarter. Gayton's rises and hits.
Defense went to sleep there.
Can't lay off him.
Looks like they're getting away from the high-low post.
John Camden heating up here at home.
He is heating up. Boy, that was a smooth drop in the bucket there. Hard to defend against that.
Foul called against Amari Stewart. Francis Bowe not happy. Third personal foul on Amari Stewart. Just the first foul on either team here in the second half.
Well,
but 3 against Stewart is the concern. Remember that Dean Coleman Newsom is saddled with those 3 personal fouls as well. He's played every minute of the second half here. Like an upperclassman in foul trouble. How about the trust that Francis Bowe has had in his freshman guard?
he doesn't look like a freshman. You know, I can understand why he's got trust in him. I mean, good decision making, physically can compete with really anybody, and but on the flip side there, with St. Joe Prep, they've had to pick their poison here in the second half, and the Carroll's made them pay. They've had a lot of good looks. They've knocked down some great shots there. Especially with, Camden. He's done very, very well from out. And, he looks like a streaky shooter. He's definitely on that hot streak so far here in the third quarter. And now a 7-point margin. That's really not in St. Joe's favor to get too far behind. I think it's going to be really difficult to come back against this team. And considering, too, they're not fouling either. They're not going to get many looks from the free throw line, so they're going to have to make it from the field tonight.
Let's take a look around the Philadelphia Catholic League. Archbishop Wood, the #1 overall seed, 18-4, 13-1 in the Catholic League. A tie at second, Bishop McDevitt won on a head-to-head tiebreaker against Newman Goretti. So Bishop McDevitt at 12-2 in the league. They're the 2 seed. Newman Goretti at 12-2 in the league, the 3 seed. Bonner Prendergast at 11-3, Roman Catholic at 10-4. That's your 4-5 matchup in Delaware County on Friday night. That should be a great one. And Newman Goretti will take on Cardinal O'Hara down in South Philadelphia on Friday night. Brian Gatens again.
Wow. I'll tell you, he's had a great game so far. But, I thought I got to watch some of your Roman broadcast. I thought that was so classic, that second floor gym
Isn't that great?
where you couldn't at like the 3-point line, the court wasn't big enough for an entire 3-point line. I mean, that was classic.
Too easy that time as Chris Arizin tries to front Kettner. No over-the-top help. Fish in a barrel that time for Archbishop Carroll. 49 seconds left in the third quarter. And the Patriots lead at home by 6 in an 8-9 matchup of the Philadelphia Catholic League playoffs. Answer from Trevor Wall.
I'll be honest with you. The only thing that's keeping St. Joe Prep in this game right now are, there have been some defensive lapses there by Carroll. They're just going to sleep. But Kettner's not going to sleep. He went right to the basket, and when he does, nobody's going to stop him from getting there.
Brute force and even a little bit of a seal on the baseline. Too much for Arizin to overcome defensively. Now Wall, a pull-up. It's good again.
See, just fall asleep for a moment. They're going to take advantage of it.
2 seconds left. Hill stepped on the end line, and St. Joe's Prep decision to make with 1.2 left in the quarter. Trevor Wall, unbelievable. 2 threes in the final minute of the quarter to get the deficit to 2, and St. Joe's Prep could even cut it closer than that or take the lead with a 3 here at the end of the quarter. Don't want to make a mistake here, though. That's the key. Arizin did not get the shot up. Wouldn't have counted if it went. But we're through 3 quarters. And it's Archbishop Carroll 54, St. Joe's Prep 52. What a great basketball game we've had here.
Just when you think that Carroll gains the advantage, they get a little complacent on defense, and and St. Joe Prep just took advantage of it with some 3-pointers there by Wall and Gatens. Cut the gap down to only 2 here going into the final quarter. Lots of fun. Bob, I'll tell you what, obviously you can tell by what I'm saying there, I'm a big fan of what you do. I'm a big fan of Philadelphia Catholic League basketball, and to have an opportunity to sit here with you and do one of these games, hey, I mean, it's incredible.
Bruce Badgley here from LL Hoops and Small Player Big Play out in central Pennsylvania. While we have a second, since you are our guest here tonight, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do and where folks can find your coverage and all your content?
Well, the next 2 nights we're going to be broadcasting on LL Hoops YouTube channel the girls and boys final of the Lancaster Lebanon League, and we've done those games, all year long. So it's going to be, a lot of fun for us. That's on llhoops.com YouTube channel, and my Twitter is @BadgleyBruce. So all of the links for those games will be on there. Also, our app, Small Player Big Play, on Twitter, it's @small_play. We're live streaming games there. We'll put links to all of Bob's games as well in there. It's Say Social Media for Youth Sports. It's free on the App Store. Small player, big play. Download it, give it a look.
Thank you very much, Bruce. And we're found here at Bob Long Sports on Twitter. Of course, most people may know them either watching it on our YouTube or our Twitter pages. BobLongSports.com is the way to get the repository to all our content, and also subscribe to us on YouTube.
Look at how they've extended the defense now.
Trevor Wall with the basketball. He scored the last 6 for the St. Joe's Prep team. Keenan inside, a kick out for Arizin. Wall had a seam, up and under. Whoa, my goodness, almost got it to go. He just creates space for himself so well. Tough shot there for Hill. It's good.
Well, I mean, he's a glass cleaner and knocking down the 3. Wow, that's quite a package here for Anquan Hill.
I cannot overstate how important that one was, because St. Joe's Prep finally decided we're going to put somebody to the back of Kettner and double team him. If Hill's going to hit that, good luck, St. Joe's Prep. Arizin got himself into trouble along the baseline. Great defensive play by Arizin cutting back. He was on his backside down below the baseline, and you're going to see him running into your picture here.
Yeah, Jimmy King took the brunt of this. Boom. At least he got up, but good defensive play, though. Sold out on that one.
Camden open for 3. A bit long that time. Big time rebound, but too strong on the follow from Stewart.
Boy, you got to take advantage of those.
6:21 to play, fourth quarter. Archbishop Carroll 57, St. Joe's Prep 52. They've been lighting it up from 3 here today. Can they create a good look? Gayton's got the defender in the air. A runner, too strong.
Yeah, I felt that was an important possession there for them.
Carroll in a hurry, gives it away. And it's Wall. Driving to the basket.
Look at
Count
that!
it. And one.
Boy, he showed the ball there as he went to the shot, said, you try and get this. Wow, what a play. What a play. I mean, that's a senior taking charge. Just what a coach wants to see at this portion of the game.
Only the second foul against Archbishop Carroll here in the second half. St. Joe's Prep has yet to commit a foul here in the second half of the game.
And he did it on 6'7", John Camden.
Well, it's all about using your body to shield the would-be shot blocker. Brilliantly done in that case. Now Camden runs off the ball screen. A switch here puts Wall on Hill. And penetration will send Newman to the Coleman Newsom to the line, I should say. That's the first foul called against St. Joseph's Prep here in the second half.
Look how they just isolated to let him take it one-on-one to right to the basket there. First time they've really kind of used that all night long, but they were effective that time.
Foul called against Jimmy King, his first. Coleman Newsom cans the first. It's a 3-point lead for Archbishop Carroll. A lot of great games we've called in this building in the past. This, another one right there. And the freshman Coleman Newsom earning his stripes in the Philadelphia Catholic League as just a freshman. Full time out on the floor.
I mean, look, somebody's got to find his birth certificate because, the guy.
What, are we talking Danny Almonte
well,
here?
Look, he is, I guess the metaphor is he looks well beyond his years.
Absolutely.
I mean, in his game, in his physical stature, in the smarts that he's using to play this game. It usually does not, rely on a freshman at this level. You know better than I for Philadelphia Catholic League. But freshmen running the offense on any high school team, have to be awful special. Clearly, Dean Coleman Newsom is very special. And, he's really been the catalyst for that offense And it's going to be interesting to see what, Carroll does down the stretch. They showed a couple different looks this half. They haven't really gone too much high-low post. They have done a lot of perimeter passing and isolation there with Dean Coleman Newsom driving to the basket. So on the other side, it looks like St. Joe Prep still trying to work that perimeter game, and I think that's causing Carroll to overplay a little bit, opening some of those holes on the inside on those dribble drives. So looks like we've got number 13 back in the game for St. Joe Prep, Richard Thomas. So expect some moves to the basket, I think, with him into the game.
It's a 4-point lead for Archbishop Carroll. Arizin got the defender in the air. Great finish.
Just no help on defense there. He got Kettner on his hip and took him right to the basket.
5:05 to play, fourth quarter. Archbishop Carroll leads by 2 here at home. A little head nod elicits the foul. This kid's ready for college. John Camden knows how to throw the head just a little bit. There it is.
Yeah, well, I don't know, maybe a Golden Globe.
There you go. 5 minutes exactly on the clock. Just the second team foul against St. Joseph's. A giveaway. Transition effort. Keenan had trouble with it, and it's stolen away. Coleman Newsom just lined that one up.
Oh, and he missed it. Just great play, but no finish.
And Bruce, where's John Camden, where's Tyree Kepner, and where's Anquan Hill racing down the floor to get on the offensive glass?
I
For
agree.
St. Joe's Prep's Hawks back there, the only guy up the floor was Dean Coleman Newsom for Carroll. 4:29 to play.
See, look at that. They're extending. Oh,
Oh boy. Anquan Hill throws that one into the baseline.
But watch how he sets it up. Look, they're extending the defense, Outlaw, and he just goes right by him. Thankfully, he's got that, Hill there who's really patrolling the lane.
When he came all the way from the opposing perimeter. That's impressive.
That's the second time he's done that today.
Trevor Wall for the lead.
Look at
It's
that.
good.
I mean, does it get any better than that, how he's playing? He sets him up for that shot by driving to the hoop. He makes the open three. 60-59. Incredible.
Good back screen that time. A double screen at the top of the key got him open. Now Kettner inside. Spins into the double team. Does not matter. Count it and one.
I think something got his ire up. He was what, 4 guys on him and just said, look out. Forces it in there and goes to the line.
Just another day in the Philadelphia Catholic League. Welcome everybody into our broadcast here on Bob Long Sports. Those of you driving home from work on a Wednesday evening.
Is there anything better? Wow.
And Kettner hits the foul shot.
Drive time basketball. Love it.
Archbishop Carroll trying to get to the palestra. They got the talent to do it. St. Joe's Prep hanging every step of the way. They have been playing excellent basketball here tonight. Many of you may remember Archbishop Carroll in a 2-7 matchup last year at LaSalle College High School, led by 17 heading into the fourth quarter. Gave that game away. LaSalle, an unbelievable comeback, made it to the palestra, got all the way to the championship game. And Archbishop Carroll, there's a lot of guys on this team, Kettner and Hill among them, Bruce, who remember what that felt like. They want to get back into that position again this year and cash in to get to the palestra. Kettner inside, counted and one.
They're going with their bread and butter now. They know that they can't stop him, so they're feeding the beast, and he's going right to the basket.
Yeah, the shirt got untucked there. I'd certainly say there was a grab inside. Third personal foul. That's called against Mike Keenan. Missed it, and over the top goes Anquan Hill.
I mean,
he doesn't like the call.
He just went skying over everybody and almost grabbed that with one hand. Oh, man.
A little contact to the back of the head of Trevor Wall will do it, though. Send it the other way.
Only a junior, gang. He's only a junior. Anquan Hill, quite impressed with his effort today, that's for sure.
The home Patriots of Archbishop Carroll. They have a 4-point lead against the 9 seed, St. Joseph's Prep. This is day 1 of the Philadelphia Catholic League basketball playoffs, and they're proudly presented here on Bob Long Sports. We look around the gym here today. You see basketball moderator for the Philadelphia Catholic League, Joe Parisi, and also the athletic director at LaSalle College High School. He's made an appearance here today. I wonder if he's going to head across town for a 7 o'clock tip at Archbishop Bryan. It's hustle season for the administrators in the Philadelphia Catholic League. Bruce?
He's going to need a police escort, I think, to get across Philadelphia for that tip. But he should be there for the second half. But, you know, just incredible excitement here. And this is an opening round game. So both of these teams just letting it all hang out here. And I'm just totally impressed with the talent. Trevor Wall, senior leader here, St. Joe Prep. Directing traffic out there. Everybody really, going off of his lead on that St. Joe Prep offensive end. And, what can he say about, Anquan Hill? I mean, he's just been fantastic all night. Tari Kettner, they are starting to, I think, get him where he needs to be, which is down low. And really, the way they're collapsing on him lately, that's really going to set up some more easy perimeter shots down the stretch, I would guess.
3:20 to go, 64-60 Archbishop Carroll. St. Joe's Prep out of the timeout. By the way, you say a police escort to get from one Philadelphia Catholic League game to another. That would be a tough doubleheader. I'll tell you what a really good doubleheader is, and one where I'm headed to. An 8:30 tip right down the street at the Finneran Pavilion. Villanova takes on Marquette in a top 20 matchup. And a key Big East game for standings and NCAA seeding type considerations.
You're not broadcasting that. You're just going to the game. Okay.
Unfortunately, not broadcasting that one.
Not for long. Pretty soon you'll be out there doing those games. That's for sure, Bob.
Well, I appreciate that, Bruce. Under 3 minutes to go. St. Joe's Prep. Here's Arizin driving into a double team. Trevor Wall to reset. When the ball's in his hand, you feel like good things are about to happen.
I'm surprised.
Tough step back. Brought down by Kettner, but he touched it last.
Wow.
Arizin just enough.
Surprised they didn't try and, get it into Richard Thomas's hands. He had Anquan Hill on him in a mismatch.
And Trevor Wall puts it in. A little slip screen inside. Converts for St. Joe's Prep.
That's a beautiful play off the inbounds there. Exactly how you draw it up.
2:18 to play. 2-point lead for Archbishop Carroll here at home. As it stands, neither team in the bonus. Archbishop Carroll, 3 team fouls. St. Joseph's Prep, 4. Anquan Hill fouled hard by Trevor Wall. And that's an excellent play there by the senior. Had to foul him there. You can't let him get that ball over the rim. Force him to the line.
How do you lose track of him? I mean, he was wide open there in the lane all by himself. So, but, good recognition there by Carroll to get him the ball.
But again, if you're Trevor Wall, once that mistake is made, make him hit these two.
It's the right move. I mean, senior's going to make him shoot 2 all day long.
One of 2. So the foul works out. Trevor Wall only the 2 personal fouls. St. Joe's Prep with 5.
Still a 1-possession game.
Gatens had the look just for a second. Thomas with it now. Gatens tees it up and in and out. It rattled all the way around the rim. That close to being tied. Now with 100 seconds left in the fourth quarter, what does St. Joe's Prep do? What does Archbishop Carroll do? They're going to attack all the way through. Coleman Newsom.
Driving to the hoop once again. You know, that great spacing, they isolated for him to go to the basket, and he took advantage.
There's an open three. Gatens in and out that time. Two of them were halfway down for Gatens. 1:12 to go.
Coleman Newsom now. Yeah, now they're going to have to get some fouls up there really quick.
They do have 6 now, and that's the 4th against Gatens. Make that Mike Keenan, who committed that personal foul. Timeout on the floor. The next one does send Archbishop Carroll to the line for the front end of the 1-and-1. And this is where it gets interesting here, Bruce. 1:09 to play in the basketball game. Certainly, St. Joseph's Prep needs to start fouling, but they have enough time to be strategic, to direct the ball to if it's Anquan Hill that they want to send to the line, they can direct it there. If it's Tyree Kettner that they would prefer to shoot those foul shots, they can direct the basketball there and then commit the foul.
I wouldn't view that Kettner is going to touch the ball at all. I would expect that it's going to be Camden or Anquan Hill. I mean, he's has been not bad at the foul line either. So, but I would expect Camden, Amari Stewart, and Dean Coleman Newsom to possibly handle that ball right now.
I do think that Kettner will be out there on the floor, though.
Oh, yeah, he will be out there. I wouldn't expect that. Let's just say if he touches the ball, I'm sure that they're going to be fouling him right away.
Right. So the 5 coming out for Archbishop Carroll: John Camden, Dean Coleman Newsom, Anquan Hill, Amari Stewart, and Tyree Kettner. So Kettner, Hill, Stewart, Coleman Newsom, and Camden.
Boy, that's an awful small lineup out there for St. Joe Prep, but
well, that's been their lineup the whole game, essentially, except for Thomas.
It's one of those run-them-down lineups. Yeah, quick foul there.
It'll be Dean Coleman Newsom for the line for the front end of 1-and-1. 1:05 to play, fourth quarter.
So it looks like Amari Stewart's going to be the only one down there for a possible rebound.
Coleman Newsom calmly steps up to the line and hits the first. Freshman's having an incredible game today.
Yeah, big free throw here to try and get it to a 3-possession game.
No good on the second. 1:03 to go. St. Joe's Prep still certainly has time to get a quick 2 if they give it to him. Foul called against Anquan Hill. Body contact, says the official.
You know, going to the basket there, you know, Arizin, I mean, he was just fearless. You know, give St. Joe Prep credit. Regardless of all that length advantage that Carroll has had all night long, you know, they have just gone there and they said, try and stop me.
Must makes here for St. Joseph's Prep.
Yep.
And he does hit them both.
All right, quick foul coming up.
Trouble getting it in, and there's Hill. I think that's the right decision there. Double the 2 guard ball handlers, and I think you'd take your chances with Hill at the front end rather than Coleman Newsom.
Yeah, absolutely. And in cases like that, you know, you want to throw it over the top of the pressure. So, you know, getting it into Hill is the right play, I think.
I'll tell you something about Speedy Morris, and we talk about his short rotation so much. You know, why is Keenan out there on the floor right now with 4 personal fouls? Why is Geaton's out there on the floor with 3 personal fouls? Now it's 4.
Yeah.
Knowing that you have the opportunity to go offense, defense with the stoppage, with sending Archbishop Carroll to the line like this. I mean, another foul for Keenan or Geaton's, your 2 best 3-point shooters, and they're out of the game.
Yeah, you know, look, I mean, he's worked that style as long as he has. So
that's right. 6-point game for St. Joe's Prep. Geaton's, great look inside. Trouble with it. In and out. And St. Joe's Prep couldn't corral the rebound. Trevor Wall had a pretty decent look at it inside, just off the back rim. And now Archbishop Carroll still the front end of the 1-and-1. Sends substitute Caleb Carter out there. He hasn't seen a ton of time here today. He'll shoot 1-and-1.
He'll, quite a bit upset with himself on that play.
No good. Still time here. 2-possession game. I do think it has to be a 3 now, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 3-point time. Gonna kick it out. Got to kick it out.
Here's Wall spinning.
Oh, look at
Tough
that.
shot. Why not? Timeout. 29 seconds left.
We have to thank him for that timeout just so that we can replay this.
Just the tail end there.
This helicopter 360. Incredible move there in amongst the trees to get that to fall. Make it a 4-point game. 30 seconds. A 3-ball, not necessary at this particular point, but I think at this particular time, they're going to be in the double bonus, so you have to believe that 3 balls are going to be in order for St. Joe Prep, down the stretch, which they've not been afraid of and have done very well on all night.
It is so tough, especially in a game like this. Trevor Wall, he feels the time ticking in his head there. I do think there was a kick out for Keenan there on the 3-point line. Certainly a higher percentage look than what he just hit. Give him all the credit in the world. That was unbelievable, that shot from Wall. But St. Joe's Prep still right here in the game. Bear in mind, as Geetons does sit down, so Speedy Morris does go offense-defense with Geetons, but if I remember correctly, Keenan also has the 4 personals. He needs to be careful not to foul because in a potential game-tie situation or trying to climb back in it, he is one of your 2 best 3-point shooters.
Yeah, and they're right. That's why I would probably try and keep him back at this particular point. But see, they've got Hill right at midcourt.
And now it's Camden. Richard Thomas will foul him right away. 1.2 seconds come off the clock.
Still a 4-point game here.
Double bonus time for make that Archbishop Carroll. Patriots in the double bonus with the 10th team foul against St. Joseph's.
Oh, Carroll looking awful confident thus far. I think maybe their confidence level could go up exponentially if Camden can drop both of these.
Well, you're going to look back at 2 good looks from Geetons in the corner from St. Joe's Prep with about 2 minutes left in the game. Both of them were halfway down. And both of them came back out.
Well,
even if one of those goes down, it's a different basketball game.
Oh, clearly.
I've said it a couple times. It's life in the Philadelphia Catholic League, Bruce. It is just great basketball here. The slimmest of margins between these 2 very talented teams. Trevor Wall gets himself into trouble. Nice catch.
Trying to get a 3-pointer.
And he throws that one through the hands of Richard Thomas.
And he was wide open to the basket there.
And that's one where if you're Thomas, maybe you just hang right at the 3-point line. I understand what he's thinking there, but a little bit of miscommunication. And in a 6-point game, maybe you hang at the 3-point line. A push in the back here as a very quick foul called against St. Joe's Prep. John Camden to the line for 2.
Yeah, running out of options right now if you're St. Joe Prep.
Tell you what, though, your thoughts on a first-round playoff matchup? But just so you know, in the Catholic League, this is the 8th-ranked team and the 9th-ranked team.
Yeah.
How about that?
On the advice of counsel, I decline to answer. Let's just say, look, it's the reason why I come and do these games with you, Bob, because I love to see the quality of basketball. I love the tradition. I love the intensity of these games. It reminds me so much of growing up in Indiana, quite honestly. It's the closest thing to me that I found in Pennsylvania of how basketball was growing up for me in Indiana.
Archbishop Carroll wins an opening round playoff game here at home, 74-66 over St. Joseph's Prep. And now the time is to turn and wait to see who wins. Archbishop Bryan, the 7 seed, or West Catholic, the 10 seed, to see whether they'll take on Bishop McDevitt on the road on Friday or Archbishop Wood on the road. And we've also witnessed the end of an era, Bruce. Speedy Morris, 52 years coaching men's basketball, women's basketball, high school basketball. There's Speedy Morris right there on the right-hand side of your screen. What an unbelievable career for him. Congratulations to Speedy on one of the greatest and most unique careers that we'll ever see in basketball. We were talking about this on Sunday during his last regular season game. Do you know anybody else that coached at 3 different high schools, college basketball men, college basketball women? Over 52 years, a special human being. Many congratulations to Speedy on the end of his career, and we see him walk through these doors for the last time as head coach of the St. Joseph's Prep Hawks. Nothing but respect from everybody across Philadelphia for Speedy.
Well, it's been respect from afar for me. I'll be honest with you. Just an incredible opportunity for me to have an opportunity to shake that man's hand and get a picture taken with him before he called it a career. He's so well respected beyond, obviously, the Philadelphia Catholic League. So just an amazing. There aren't any more superlatives that you can say for a man who's contributed so much to society.
Congratulations to St. Joseph's Prep on a great year. They'll end it 12-11 overall. They were 6-8 in the regular season. A loss here in the first round drops them from the Philadelphia Catholic League playoffs. Now, of course, bear in mind that this is not the end of the total season for St. Joe's Prep, as the number 2 team out of 6A, they will head to the state playoffs. So the PIAA career of Speedy Morris is not over, but the Philadelphia Catholic League portion, this will be the last time he walks out of a Philadelphia Catholic League venue as either a home or away venue.
I can't even imagine what he must be feeling right now. You know, that the next time, you know, that he's going to be, you know, coaching a game, you know, that it's winding down on so much that has been his life for so long. I can't even imagine. I mean, you know, I'm an older guy too. I reminisce a lot about things and say, oh my gosh, I've done it for like, you know, 50 years or whatever like that. I can't even imagine what it's like, you know, for him, thinking about how it's been, you know, doing and coaching basketball as long as he has as well.
What a great game this was here, Bruce. I appreciate the time with you here up in the broadcast booth. You do a wonderful job, and I know that our paths will continue to cross. I enjoy working with you. And until next time, Archbishop Carroll moves on here in the Philadelphia Catholic League playoffs. As mentioned, a Friday night tilt for them, whether it be Bishop McDevitt on the road or Archbishop Wood on the road. Neither of those a particularly fun matchup, but Francis Bowe and his staff going to dial things up, get that ready, and you know, we've talked about this off air, but this Archbishop Carroll program so blessed with the coaching tree. Paul Romancic, who was an alum here and a star player for so many years, he coached here for 15 years, took a break from coaching to go spend time with his family, go coach his younger kids, which is fantastic. Francis Bowe comes in, picks up right where Paul left off. It is an embarrassment of riches from a talent, from a coaching perspective for this Carroll team, and they'll move on. I say that McDevitt and Wood, tough matchups. I don't know that either of those teams want to necessarily see Carroll either. That'll be a brilliant one on Friday night.
Yeah, I have to believe so. And, you know, for me, you know, seeing the talent that's out here on that floor, I mean, for both squads, you know, occasionally we get to see St. Joe Prep, you know, up in Berks County. Had an opportunity to see them play Berks Catholic here and there, up at the Hoop Group Classic up in Reading. So, you know, there is some familiarity there, but to get a look at, you know, regularly the Philadelphia Catholic League basketball is just wonderful.
Bruce Badgley, my color commentator here today. I'm Bob Long. So proud to broadcast the Philadelphia Catholic League playoffs. Thanks, everybody, for spending time with us wherever and however you may have been watching us, whether on Twitter or on YouTube or up on the 60-inch television. It's all great.
The 65. Hey, I'm going home and watching it on the 65-inch.
Well, good stuff. We appreciate it, Bruce. You can catch all of our games after the fact on boblongsports.com. Follow us on Twitter at boblongsports, and follow us on YouTube as well. Again, Bruce Badgley, Bob Long here. Archbishop Carroll, a 74-66 winner over St. Joseph's Prep, advancing in the Catholic League playoffs. We'll see everybody next time. Thanks so much for your support. And everybody be safe the rest of this week.